Hey, what's up guys, it's Dom from Whole Printing Inc. In today's quick yet exciting video, I'm going to share with you guys how to save an incredible amount of time going back and forth with your clients. Now some of you've been growing your printing business and you have quite a few clients. And this can become overwhelming when there's a lot of previews to do. You have to call the client, inform the client of this is how the logo is going to look like. And in today's video, my only goal is to make you save an insane amount of time when it comes to going back and forth with mock-ups, samples, and all of that information that might be crucial for your clients to make a decision, purchase the clothing, so you can move through with production. Now, the goal of this video, like I said, is to simplify everything and make it as easy as possible for you to set up and for the client to view and confirm. My name is Dom. I've been in the printing industry for years. I've worked with many big corporations and I help you on your printing journey. So for us, we've been in the printing industry for quite a few years and we've done many different things when it comes to sending mock-ups to clients, having a sort of internal structure when it comes to sizing of the logos, placements, measurements, all that good stuff. Today I'll be showing you what we've created, and it's nowhere near the final product, but hopefully you can copy and steal this template for yourself to save you an incredible amount of time. So here's an example of a mock-up page that we have. Now this is for a simple order, right? So let's break it down. You can do this in Photoshop, you can do this in Canva. There's a few different softwares you can use to be able to make this vision a reality. And in the future, I'll make an updated version of this video giving you this template either in Photoshop or as a PDF so you can use it for yourself. But in the meantime, hopefully this video will lay out everything you need, set it up for yourself, and no longer have to scramble. The biggest thing that's important about this information is that let's say the client comes back after a year or two and you don't remember what was the SKU of the model you used, what logo they had, what was the size of the logo, what was the placement. This is a very simple template that takes a few minutes to set up, and after you have this template you simply change it for future clients. Let's get right into it. We've broken it down into a few sections. Number one, we have the client. This is the name of the client or the company billing address, and then this is the official name of the client. Sometimes they have two companies, so this is an example of that case. Here we have the actual product or products that were used, as well as the SKU of the products. After that, if we go lower here, we have the date that the order was placed and the invoice number, or if it's not an invoice yet, you can write estimate here. So date, invoice number, and then here is color code. So for you guys that might be using a desktop printer, you might have something a bit different here when it comes to color code. You can write anything when it comes to Photoshop or Canva, like hue and saturation, brightness and contrast. And you can also write down, I made a video on the best DTF settings, make sure to go take a look if you haven't already, but you can also write your DTF printing settings in color codes. You can change this and modify this however you like. This is just an example. So here we have the logos that the client was using. So in this case we only have one logo, and we also have the sizing of the logo. If ever we were to lose the file or lose the print ready file, we have the sizing right here. And then, as I was saying, we have the product and the SKU. And finally here, we have the area which we've done our measurements and confirmed with the client. So this section is done after the client has confirmed the size of the logo and the actual placement of, in this case, the bag. The way I would go about it is, if you have a new client, you write down the client's name, you write down the date and the invoice number, the color codes, everything like you would usually. But then when it comes to logo, instead of going back and forth and having to cycle through a bunch of Facebook or email messages to find what the client said 2 years ago, you would save this for future reference. And when the client wants to repeat their order, you simply have this file so you know you're staying consistent with the previous jobs. So this is very useful, right? So for us, the client has already confirmed the logo size since we already made bags for her in the past. And then we have this sizing chart right here that gives us an easy measurement. So if we are to get new employees, or even if it's myself that is doing them and it's been a while and I'm not too sure what the exact sizing and placement is, I can just refer back to these columns and go back to production with ease. After that, if necessary, you can have the due date and the date that you finished the order, and then you can sign it. And if you have employees, you can get them to sign this to make sure that they follow everything correctly. Now, this is a simple one-pager because there's not a lot of information, but let me show you something a bit more complex. So guys, this is an example of a more complex order, so you guys can really understand. You can break this down and make it as complex or as simple as humanly possible. We have the client name, official name of billing, we have the date that the order was placed, the invoice number, the color codes, and if I was to have different color codes for each logo, I would simply name them here. Here we have a total of 8 logos, but we have this front logo and this back logo, front, back, front. Here we have 2 variants, and then we have back and back. And then here we have the sizing of all of those logos. So very simple and very easy. If ever the client wants to do some modifications in the future, they can easily just inform us and we'll do the modifications. And this was the first order, so we've informed the client that if they like to change something, we have everything here on file that we can easily change. So here we have the sizing, guys, of everything. So in this example, these are the sizes we use for the front and the back. We also have measurements, so the employee or me in the future knows from which point I started. So in this case, I went from the width all the way to the top of the hoodie, and the same thing on the corner. And in the back, we can see it a bit better, right? Sorry for the camera, guys, it's blurry a bit, but I'm going from the top of this width right here, and I'm centering it in the middle where it says 1999, from the corner to the side of the hoodie, from this corner to the side of the hoodie, so I know I'll stay consistent with these measurements if ever I have to redo a job similar to this or the same job in the future. And here we have the other example. So this is the hoodies, and again, same principle, making some notes, putting down the measurements. And in this case, we don't have any measurements here because we want to make sure we have the same thing on both sides. So it changes a bit depending on the hoodie. And also a thing we can add on this first page for this client would be the SKUs of the hoodie. So we want to make sure we have the color that we use and also the SKUs. So this is actually missing on this page right here. This is basically the brains of the operations. You want to make sure this is as detailed but as simple as possible for you guys to go back in the future. And here, guys, we also have the t-shirt. Same principles applies, basically only the sizing and a visual reference for either yourself in the future or your employee if ever you're giving more responsibilities to them in production. So as I was showing you here, this is basically your brains of the operations, and then this is the actual measurements. And before you do everything when it comes to production and stuff, this is especially good before you do an estimate. This is your mock-ups that you're going to be sending to your clients so they can confirm placement and sizing. Once everything is confirmed, you can do a preview, actually printing out a DTF transfer, putting it on the table and sending them a photo so they can get a visual. But you always want to send proofs like this. You and the client understand what the next step is and how it's going to overall look once it's been printed. Hopefully this will save you a lot of time when it comes to going back and forth with production, with mock-ups, with previews. And once this is set up, even though it's taking you maybe a bit more time in the short term to set up, in the long run, it's going to be way easier and way simpler as you get more and more people on your team. They're going to be able to look at these folders and have a better idea what the direction is that everybody's going in. And also, it looks professional when you have this and you show it to a client when you need to do a modification on logo size or logo placement. And also, you can make this more visually appealing if you want to be sharing it with the client, especially these pages. These are just rough templates, and we'll most definitely be doing an updated version and finalizing everything and giving you guys the PSDs or the Canva files, whatever the case may be, so you guys can modify them however you like. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll be updating this video very soon with a mock-up that you guys can download for yourself and adjust however you'd like. This was Dom from Whole Printing Inc. Make a print you'll never forget.